Buongiorno tutti. Well, I should say, welcome everyone. Hello everyone. Good day everyone. Because I'm back in Canada. Nancy's with me, which is a really great thing. I missed her a lot. I spent the last 2 days just hanging out with her. We've been on lots of walks and lots of like couch time, and she's already pretty sick of me. But today I warned you guys I would make a couple more videos, and today I thought I would go over just some of the stuff that I brought, the stuff. And as I said, I had that dilemma of wanting to bring back bits of Italy, like some silly trinkets and that, but also like some food stuff, some things that I could really use to remind myself of a different lifestyle and a different time in my life that I'd like to learn from the good stuff of that experience, and integrate that into my life. So yeah, what I wound up doing, I finally decided that I was gonna, buy a suitcase. And that's what I did. I bought a cheap suitcase, one of those wheelie things. I think this was originally 55 euros, but I managed to, not out of any real effort, talk her down to about 40. So what is that, like 60 bucks, 60 Canadian. And I was a little worried because I thought, oh, what a smart thing to do, buy a cheap bag. And then I thought, oh, wait a second, what if I bought a cheap bag and it's just going to break? But it worked out, no problem. I bought myself a shirt from Venice. This isn't the right color. This is so Venice is really cool, especially when it comes to branding and like what we'd call branding now. But back in the day, this was a symbol of unity of the city and all that. And Florence, I went everywhere looking for something with just that red fleur-de-lis. And I couldn't really find it. Most of it was just a lot of extra stuff. I just wanted something subtle and all that, and I didn't really find it. But this is a little garish, like for me anyway. The whole flag of the city looks like this. I bought a couple of stickers, originally just to slap onto the bag so I'd know it was mine. The flag itself, I bought a little one myself, but I bought this actually first because I thought this would be just kind of fun to have in the apartment. So just a little small, but you can see the frills. There's like little slats in here. These things flap independently. So not a lot of wind in the apartment, but it'll still look kind of cool. I love symbols and stuff like that, and I know my dad does too. So I got my dad a T-shirt, but his is more of this, what is this, maroon something color? But even his is a little redder than it's supposed to be. But it's the same shirt. By the way, I'm only going to show this video after I've given away these gifts, so I'm not spoiling it for anybody yet. Oop. I might be spoiling it if I ruin the packaging trying to open it, but I know he likes this kind of stuff as well. And the city that he's from is Leiden in the Netherlands, and their symbol is they have lions and keys. And so yeah, I've got got a nice bronze, and this is supposed to have been made from some kind of bronze master. I don't know what that means, but it sounded super fancy. The big thing that I wanted to bring back was some of the food stuff, and this is a big jug of truffle oil that I got in Florence that I was using to cook with, all throughout. And when it came time to leave, I could have left this. This is about a quarter full at this point. I could have left it, or I could have brought it home, but I had the room for it, so it came home with me, and I'm going to cook with it. So I went into one of those truffle shops, and the stuff that this guy sells was pretty amazing. And this is a big bottle of truffle oil. This will last. With truffle oil, you just use like a little bit, just a little bit. When I first started using this one, I used way too much, which is why it's about a quarter or half full. So this should last me a good, this should last me years, unless I get silly with it. But, oh, really good stuff. Really good stuff. This is some pretty high-end fancy olive oil. And I bought some for the apartment, and I cooked with it for the month that I was there. And I bought like 3 bottles, because the first bottle I found was just like, it's alright. Second bottle was nice, but it was a small bottle. And then I bought some of this, and oh, that's good stuff. I never thought I'd like really strong flavored, like fruity, aromatic olive oil, but to cook with, yeah, it's really good. And unfortunately, I only made about halfway through the bottle that I bought, but I couldn't bring a half open bottle of olive oil, so I bought a new one, and I'm going to make some really good stuff with that. And I brought some squid ink spaghetti. I wouldn't have bought spaghetti necessarily, like spaghetti itself. I would have got like penne or tagliatelle or whatever. But the last day, this was all I could really find. So this is squid ink, black squid ink pasta. So I also brought, so I kept buying this pasta, and it's semola. That's the type of flour that they use, which was really, really good. And of course this one was like 3/4 full, and I debated leaving it, because like, why would I bring a open package of pasta, and would it even survive? But I had room in the bag and thought, screw it, I'm going to bring it. It's good stuff. Pistachio spread. Had to. I should have bought more. But the thing is I did find some good stuff. Again, same with the olive oil. I bought some. It was okay. Bought some other stuff. That's better. And then I found this, and it was like, oh yeah, that's good stuff. But it really pales in comparison to the stuff that you can get in Sicily. So if I would have ended my trip in Sicily, I probably would have just filled my bag with this. When I got to Florence, I realized that my Airbnb did not have a mocha pot, so I went out and I bought one. And I used this all throughout Florence, and debated leaving it there because I didn't have the room in my bag. Brought it to Venice, used this every day in Venice, and yeah, brought it here. I also brought my hucuma. I went on a coffee tour in Naples and was introduced to this idea. This is also an espresso maker. So, Venetian Glass, right? It's always been really, really famous. They've always had artisans working on the Venetian glass. In particular, the artists from Murano. Now you like look for that sticker, Murano Glass, and they'll give you certifications that it's like made in Murano and all that, which these were. But there's a historical significance to it, because because they were this big trading empire involving the sea and all that. Navigation, seeing far away, telescopes, the very early versions of telescopes, they all relied on this very secret technology of Venetian glass. And some suggest that Venice, along with its location, the fact that it was in the lagoon, so it had a like kind of a deep water port. But on top of that, the secret to their success was the glass, and making the fine Venetian glass. And it was a tightly kept secret. Like, think like nuclear secrets, right? At the time, it would have been the equivalent, which is why people like Galileo showed up, because they wanted that Murano glass to make those telescopes, the mirrors in that case, so that they could look at the stars. But of course, the ship navigation relied on looking at stars. They relied on looking far away, all that kind of stuff. So I thought the significance of coming back with some Murano glass would be really cool. But for whatever reason, these things really started to appeal to me, and you can buy them anywhere. They're all over the place. But I liked this specific color. And again, when I decided I was going to buy stuff and bring it home, I looked everywhere. And then everywhere I went, I was looking in the windows, like, do you have the colors that I want? Because I'm pretty sure I saw these. And as it turns out, these were in the shop just around the corner from my apartment. Like, it was silly. But I really like, I don't know why, but, you know, there's, it's like squished or something. You know, there's some tactileness to it. But I like this color. I don't know why. It was very appealing. And this is kind of a reddish with the blue in it. And I normally here I have a couple of plastic cups because, you know, I tried to simplify my life and all that kind of stuff. So I just have really, like, I have 4 plates. Or 4 big plates, 4 little plates. Well, 3 little plates because one broke. You know, but I thought this would be cool. Like, I'll replace a couple of my plastic cups with some fancy cups. Now, the thing is, when you buy these kind of trinkets, you want to buy them as far away from the tourist attractions as possible, because these cost me €13 each. If you buy the fancier version, they can go anywhere from 20 to €35. And I'm sure they're probably worth it, but I wasn't sure that these even survive, so I figured I'd get the cheaper ones. But if you buy these like in the Piazza or San Marcos or something, like, these will cost you like 20, 30 euros. So closer to my apartment, they were 13. Something to think about. But yeah, I mean, this isn't just a cup. It isn't just blue. It isn't just Murano glass. I mean, this is like Venetian history that I'm going to use to drink juice. And the other thing I got for myself was this. This was actually the first trinket I bought. I saw this and was like, hey, I want that, and I'm going to bring it home. What it is, I think it's a license plate cover. What it recreates is the street signs that you see. Now, normally they're not a plaque, they're just painted onto the walls, and this is like pretend aged, you know, or whatever. But this looks very similar to what, if you're wandering around Venice and you're lost and you're not using your phone, you got to use these signs to figure out where you're going. So, per San Marco, so for San Marco, and there's per Rialto and per San Croce and Piazza Roma and the train station, which I'm not going to try to pronounce. And yeah, so they're usually really up high, and I thought, yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll just put this in the apartment, and ideally like over here, so it's actually pointing towards San Marco, like as generally. But I thought this was really cool. I wish they didn't have the little Venetian thing, so it looked a little bit more authentic. But I guess us tourists want people to know, I bought this in Venice. This is Venetian. This is a Venice thing. There was a bunch of people who helped out with Nancy while I was gone, and this is truffle cooking starter kit, basically, with some paste, some truffle oil, and pesto, truffle cream, that kind of thing. This is probably really good. I should have bought myself one, but this is going to Trevor. This is the most fun. I saw this in Florence, actually, and this isn't necessarily an Italian thing, but they have this fun, I think it's actually a Danish store. It's called Pylons, and it's just fun objects. And my boss at Rain Digital is always looking for these umbrellas, and you can see that. It's just fun. But it stands on its own, like, you know, it's got little boots, rain boots, you know, fun. I bought my niece a little, I didn't think I could bring back like full masks, so this was the best I could do. This is, so again, a lot of what you buy is Murano glass. Now, I'm not a fashion person, so this kind of just looked pretty, and it seemed like the colors that Marjorie wears. So that's for her. I was trying to get Murano glass for people because it is pretty, and it's bought authentically in Venice. You know, like that's the spirit I'm trying to get with. But like, do I care that it's Murano glass or whatever? No, but I think it's kind of fun. This is another piece of jewelry. I really hope they like this, because I'm the wrong person to be making jewelry decisions, but this seemed to be the color that my friend Heather wears. She was Nancy's primary caregiver for 3 months. It's probably worth a necklace, right? So again, with Murano glass, I don't know whether you could see that or not. Do I have to take that out of the box? No, you should be able to see that. So this is for my mother. Her, you know, let's call it spirit animal, is the ladybug. She's all about the ladybugs. Another gift from my mother, right? Like they make these fun little, you know, I don't know, what would you call this? Like just little figurines of animals and stuff. So I thought I would get her that. The piece de resistance is, this is for my sister, who I generally try to find everything cat buttish. She's really into cats, and I don't know where we got into this joke about cat butts, but this is the best one I found. But it's Murano glass, made by a Murano Glass artisan in Murano, north of Venice, and it's a cat butt. Oh, like it's a whole cat, but like, yeah. This is mostly what I got. There's a couple of other little like food stuff that I brought back as well. You know, not a lot, but I filled a suitcase full of the stuff, and it all survived. So as I said originally, I wasn't going to buy anything. I wanted the whole experience to be kind of ethereal, but then I thought about the idea of bringing back this really, really good olive oil and the truffle oil and the pasta. I read a comment on one of my posts the other day that said, from Darren, who has been to Italy, spent a lot of time there, and he vocalized what I was thinking, was the idea that like I was cooking over in Italy, and now I'm here, and it's like I have to relearn how to cook, right? Like there's just different styles and different ingredients and different stores and all that, and that's kind of how I'm feeling, yeah, it's a very strange feeling. Like you get into this routine, and now you're like, oh, you know, but this was a break from my previous routine, and how quickly am I going to go back to my old routine, and what could I incorporate, and how do I do this, right? But it was a little poor timing because of Good Friday. Everything's closed. But tomorrow I'm heading out and buying some supplies to make myself some dinner with my truffle oil and my olive oil, and drinking out of my Murano glasses. And wearing my Venice t-shirt. You know, I was such a tourist, right? As you can see, Nancy really missed me. She doesn't even... You see her and all? Yeah, she's just, you know, asleep. So, anyway, this is the stuff I bought. The other stuff that I now have. Mostly gifts, but, you know, some souvenirs. Souvenirs means to remember, right? And that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, I hope everyone watching is doing awesome. I'm back home. Having a little culture shock. But otherwise doing very awesome and happy to be home with Nancy. So, with that, I will say, I guess, until tomorrow, see you later, and ciao.